Deputy Opposition Leader Sussan Ley, your thoughts on proposed changes and some of the comments that the Prime Minister just said then, Susan?
Good morning, Pete. Well, I had to smile when I heard the Prime Minister say we make decisions and we do things in a transparent way, because I remember him looking straight into the eyes of the Australian people and saying my word is my bond and I won't change the stage 3 tax cuts. But Pete, this was the plan all along and we can see it now. The election was won on a lie. The election win was based significantly on this lie. Every single Labor MP lied to their community and they need to stand up and explain that today and in the days ahead. I don't think the Australian people accept a Prime Minister who lies to their face. This is incredibly important for many people, and you've discussed all of the detail, which I was present in the Parliament when it was legislated by both sides. But my question now is, what else is on the table? Negative gearing, taxes on the family home, increases in the Medicare levy or the NDIS levy, because you can't trust this Labor government. And if this has to go through the Parliament again with legislation, what will the Greens do to change this bill? Because they've tried very hard to change every single bill and they've been successful with this government so far. So there's lots to question the Prime Minister about when he makes his final announcement.
OK, stage 1 and stage 2 of the scheme, they've already come into effect, bringing help to those at the lower end. But has the economic picture changed since this scheme was designed, in that more help is now needed for those low and middle income earners?
Well, since the top tax bracket was introduced, we've seen twice the number of people in that bracket. We've seen bracket creep. Pete, this shouldn't be about lower income versus higher incomes. It shouldn't be about the class war. We want to see everyone's income increase and we want everyone to pay less tax. We know when the government runs out of ideas and out of money, they come for your money. And what we absolutely can see in this decision-making process is no ideas, no proper economic plan, and an attack on every single Australian via this simple, flat lie that will not be received well. I'm in Western Australia. People work bloody hard over here in the resources sector as fly-in, fly-out workers. They spend time away from their families, they travel, they work incredible hours, and they want to put away that money so they can build a future for themselves, a future full of aspiration for their children and a better life. And they will look at this Prime Minister and see the attacks on them.
Your party has already said it won't support the changes. If you win the next election, will you roll back whatever changes are made?
Well, this is our position. This is absolutely our position. And the point is, Pete, it was Labor's position too. It was Labor's position too. The promises that were made, the promise that's been broken, the lies that have been told to the Australian people, and now the chaos that results. Everybody coming back to Canberra for a 4 p.m. meeting and then a knees up at the lodge. And all of this has been decided in advance, and all of this has been decided without proper consultation with the Australian people. Anthony Albanese said to them, my word is my bond. Look at it today. It's in tatters.
So would you make the changes again? Would you roll them back if you win the next election?
We've made it very clear that this is our policy. The policy is the legislated position that stands today.
Yeah, but but if the changes are made, will you try and make the changes again to bring them back to the original plan?
Of course we support the legislation that we were party to and that Labor agreed to. And there's no way in the world, Pete, that we are going to back in higher taxes and an attack on aspirational Australians and a Prime Minister who's lied to the Australian people. No way in the world. So I know that the people in many, many seats across Australia, obviously the Prime Minister's got one seat in mind, and he's creating all of this political theatre around that. This is what's so disappointing. This is not about economics. It's not about an economic plan. It's just about the politics and the theatrics. And if you live, by the way, in the electorate of Frankston, you've seen your rent go up 50%, your electricity and groceries go up 30%, your insurance double. This government bring 1 million new migrants into this country with nowhere to house them. This is the way that this government is approaching your cost of living, and it's all wrong.
So it's I'm going to wrap up here, but I mean, it's brought back the question of class warfare. And, you know, the common reaction from stage 3 critics is that those at the top end can afford it. You know, that they can afford to have some of their savings clipped for the bottom end. So is someone who earns $180,000, $190,000, $200,000 a year, are they rich, Sussan?
West Australians who work in the mines, who earn those sums, are not rich. And I've met many of them here. And likewise, people across the country who work incredibly hard. You know, it's funny, Pete, because the way that the government and some commentators talk, not you, of course, is that this is all the government's money. This is all the government's money, and they get to decide how it's handed out to people. In fact, this is your money. You have earned it. The taxes are paid by you. And we in the Liberal Party believe that you deserve always to keep more of the money you earn.
Okay. Sussan Ley, the Deputy Opposition Leader, joining us live from Perth. Thank you, Sussan.